developer that came in and built a $300 million roadway that connects an inner loop of El Paso to an outer loop of El Paso and provides access control points into the installation. Completely funded by a private entity, and the state of Texas, the Department of Transportation, is essentially paying a toll based on traffic counts, on monthly traffic counts back to this private developer. Again, it was a way for the state to not tie up its resources, a very creative way to make that happen. Housing, big issue for us. As I said, we're building up about 24,000 active duty population, and the on-post housing is not going to be sufficient for that personnel. And as I'm looking at the numbers there are about 3,900 units of on-post housing that are either developed or are underway. But we have to build 17,500 approximately housing units over the next few years just to accommodate the growth that's going to be in the community from these families that are going to be moving into our community. Keep in mind that we're a community, on average, that over the last 5 or 6 years is only building about 3,100 new housing units per year. And that's without Fort Bliss growth. And so again, you're going to hear this theme. Over the next 5 to 6 year period, we actually have to double the rate of housing production in our community to meet the growth that's there. One of the things that our local government has actually approved incentives that waive permitting fees and accelerate or expedite permits for housing that's going to be affordable and in those price ranges that our military personnel can afford. And by the way, we've done a very in-depth study, and we know what the housing need is at every band of income within this active duty population. Water, being in the middle of the desert, water is always a question. I'm going to tell you this is really the key issue that finally pushed the Army past reluctance to grow Fort Bliss. We went and stood on the desk of the AXIM, General Larry Lust, in the Pentagon, for about 2 years, throwing data at him about our water reserves. And then one of the things that we did in the community is we also made a commitment to extend our freshwater reserves by building a water desalination plant. We actually have a virtual ocean of salty water underneath the desert floor, and this new desalination plant, 27.5 million gallons a day of production. Plus, we named it after a senator, too. Helped to get a little bit of federal funding. Named after Senator Kay Bailey Hutchison. Okay, next. And we're developing a 3,000-acre mixed-use development right next door to the Army, and I'll talk about that more in just a few moments. So I'm down to 10 minutes. I'm going to race through this and just give you a taste of what's going on. Go ahead and build out the chart. I won't talk about all 4 quadrants of this. But one of the things that we're doing in our business recruitment strategy, I may have already mentioned, is we're really trying to target the recruitment of companies that enhance the mission at Fort Bliss. And so one of the things that we really see happening there is this diversity of different mission sets that are coming to the installation. One of the huge things that Army is trying to figure out, and perhaps other services as well, is how you take your legacy technologies and you integrate them with new technologies. And so to really initiate a true system of systems concept. Well, we are doing a lot of things to try and bring companies into the area that can support that whole systems integration concept that will lead to software development, communications from a research and manufacturing standpoint. We're actively going after companies in those mission sets. One of the things that we've done with our Fort Bliss leadership as well is gone to them and asked them how we can help reduce their operational footprint. And we're creating an industrial park right next to where this buildup is taking place so that maintenance missions and reset missions for Army equipment can take place off the installation so that it doesn't impact upon the mission at Fort Bliss. Go next. Again, I'm not going to brief. Here's a strategy. These are the 4 target industries that we are going after, and there is a component in every one of these target industries that can somehow relate back to the defense sector. And many different companies that we're working with in the defense sector relate to these other industries as well in terms of life sciences, automotive, and clean technologies. One of the opportunities that we see at Fort Bliss is Fort Bliss was just designated as an Army Center for Renewable Energy, and we're working with many companies who have different types of renewable energy technologies that can be developed, tested, and deployed out of our region. I'm sorry this looks more like a cartoon, but this is actually a master plan. If you look at the brighter red, yellow, I think those are the colors at the top side of this slide. That's what I showed you earlier on the aerial photograph. That's where the military buildup is taking place. And literally right across the fence line is a 3,000-acre piece of land owned by the El Paso International Airport Authority that we are developing in a mixed-use concept. Again, part of that being an industrial park to directly support missions. One of the things that we're doing with the installation is we're building a tank underpass underneath a roadway between the two installations so that we can move material on and off the installation in a seamless fashion where it does not impact upon local traffic. Another part of what we've created there is we've just opened a brand new resort golf course in close proximity to where the military buildup is taking place, and we've reserved a band of land around the golf course for science and technology types of developments that we're already talking to companies about locating in. Go next. Workforce development. We have much like this island, we have a very young workforce. I think I've read that your average age of your population here is 25. We are about 31 in El Paso, which is far below the national average. And there are certain aspects of this young labor force that we feel like that we can promote in terms of high energy, solid technical awareness, the ability and willingness to learn new things, lower healthcare costs, and we're really selling the attributes of our youthful workforce. As I mentioned earlier, too, we have more than 67,000 people who are underemployed in our region. 30%, almost 30% of those underemployed population have a bachelor's degree or higher, and we see opportunities related to the military buildup to create jobs for bachelor-educated individuals. Our community college is doing very specific training programs that meet with the growth. Developed a construction management program to help with this. With the buildup. Our university, I talked earlier about systems integration. Actually, I'm probably getting that out of turn. Let me talk about the university in just a few moments. But I think one of the most unique things that we've done is the El Paso JobRegister.com. What we did is we created a website so that once an active duty person is finding out that they're going to be deploying to Fort Bliss and they have an accompanying spouse, we will direct them to this website months in advance so that they can go online and look at where the employment opportunities are in the community. And the other part of this is that it's giving employers in El Paso to find skilled personnel in advance too. And if we have people that are going to be relocating to our region that require professional certifications like teachers or nurses, then if we can find out who those folks are early on, then we can work on the certification process before they even arrive in our community. So doing a number of things in workforce development. Go next. Public education, as I mentioned, we've passed over $845 million in bond issues in the community. And you can just see they're building 10 new elementary schools, 3 middle schools, 3 high schools, and about a fourth of this bond effort is directly related to military growth in our community. I believe the number there is that we're going to have to train 5,000 new teachers over the next 15 years and get them into the economy as well.